and fellow human beings. It's me, Evandrix, back again with some more fun stuff. Today, what I have for you is a little bit of a weird one, but I have this wonderful bag. I'll turn it inside out so that you can see the pattern. It's this glorious chakras tree of life situation that I got when I was shopping with my bestie at the mall. You know how it goes. And, you know, I'm going to be completely honest. There was the point in my life where if something like this was ripped, I would have just thrown it away because I didn't have any spoons to deal with trying to repair it, right? Every day was just survival mode. So I thought we'd take some time to repair this and talk about some other mental health things and, you know, just keep vibing. One thing, if you have watched my intro video, if you haven't, go watch it because I'm really cute and you should want to. I mentioned that I had some things in the works, and those things were the fact that I have started cosmetology school at this local community college here where I live. Obviously, it's a pretty big difference from teaching private music lessons to turn into a cosmetologist. But it's been really, really fun. So, cosmetology school. It's been really, really fun. It's actually a pretty fun mix of other people and other ages in the class. I was a little worried that I was going to be one of the oldest people in there. I am definitely one of them, but I am not the oldest, so whew, I won that game, right? So yeah, I'm actually really excited to start this career, and I have lots of things in the works for how I want to apply doing this. You know, having a cosmetology license means you can do hair and nails and, you know, some other sort of spa type things. But, you know, even just doing hair and nails is really nice. One thing, though, about going back to school that I have, you know, sort of gotten to enjoy is the fact that I actually am really good at learning things. I really enjoy, you know, researching things and figuring new stuff out. And before I was, you know, properly diagnosed, living every day in survival mode, just trying my very best to not upset anybody or do something wrong. You know, what's wrong in this day and age. That, you know, I would perceive these hobbies as, or I would perceive these interests as hobbies, right? You know, just for fun, not to earn anything, and, you know, it was spare time stuff, right? And that's really faulty, because if you are creative and you like doing something and it is something that you could make money off of, and you decide that that's something that you want to do with that creative talent, you can absolutely figure something out, right? Like Etsy is a thing, YouTube is a thing, all of this social media, you'll find your people out there, which is what a wonderful thing, right? But, you know, just learning new things and getting to apply my passion for learning in a trade as opposed to something's a little bit more academic, like obviously teaching is academic, but, you know, even singing and performing can be not necessarily a hands-on type situation, and I'm really going to enjoy getting to help people feel their best and, you know, help match their insides to their outsides, as I like to say, even though that sounds kind of creepy now that I'm saying it on camera. Yikes. One thing that when you're learning something new, and this is something that I would talk about often with my music students, is that when you are learning something new, you start off with what is referred to as mechanical knowledge. Mechanical knowledge. That meaning if you want to do something, like usually I use the example of riding a bike, when you first learn, you have to think left foot down, right foot up, left foot down, right foot up, and thinking each step as you go, and you have to actively process each step. That is mechanical knowledge. And when you practice enough times, I say as I'm struggling to do the same thing I've done about 20 times already, it goes from mechanical knowledge to what we refer to as procedural knowledge. Now, procedural knowledge is, just like the saying goes, you never forget how to ride a bike, right? Meaning that even if you hadn't ridden one in a long time, if you had learned, your brain can go, oh, let's run procedure, ride a bike. And that obviously, isn't a one-size-fits-all, but it is a fairly good generalization of how learning something new works. And so, for example, the first thing we're learning in cosmetology school is manicures. Love it, right? I love giving myself manicures. It's really, really fun. But you have to pass the state board. You have to know all of the steps. You have to make sure everything's sanitized, which, duh, you want everything to be sanitized if somebody's doing your hair or your nails. And, I think when we had finished going over all of the steps in class, we counted and there were 19 steps just for the manicure. That's not even all of the sanitizing, right? And that's a lot to remember, right? Who's going to remember 19 steps of something? Nobody is, right? That's why you have to practice that mechanical knowledge over and over and over again. There we go. There's my hang on. Until it becomes procedural, until you can think, I'm just going to start over here. I know exactly what I'm doing. Step, 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 step. While your brain is able to do other things, obviously, like, talk to people, answer questions, in general stuff, right? And I'm excited because I know how well I learn and I know how my brain works. I'm very excited to see how quickly I can pick up these literal hands-on type of learning and turn it from my mechanical knowledge into my procedural knowledge. I don't know if you have heard it or heard me say it. If you're the type of person that this saying irritates them, you've probably caught it several times now, but I am a pretty smart person. Got a high IQ. I taught myself to read when I was like 3 or 4, just started reading street signs driving around. And that's fine, right? That's just a thing that I got lucky with. I was born intelligent. But as a result of, just a lot of different things going on as I was growing up, I really, really, really used my intelligence as my identity. If I wasn't the smartest person in the room, I was losing and somebody was going to come and take me away. Something like that kind of disastrous thinking. Which, when you say it out loud in front of a camera, knowing in the light of day, oh, that's silly. But when your brain is whispering bad things to you at 3 a.m., it's not as easy to ignore that. So I encourage you to, there can be things about yourself that you love and that you go, oh man, I'm so good at this. This is an aspect of me that is unique to me, that is mine, that I claim it, right? Everybody has that right. But I would just encourage you, like I try to encourage myself, to not use it as your identity. You are still you. Even if this particular aspect of you was taken away, you would still be you. I would still be Evandrix. I would still be worthy of love. I would still be human, right? And worthwhile for being here. So, I don't know. That's just a little wisdom from Auntie Evandrix for today. There you go. You have it. Oh gosh. How long have I been talking now? About 7-10 minutes now. And this is about as far as I have gotten. That's like, what? Half an inch? A quarter of an inch? She's messy. She's a little puckered, right? Who cares? When it comes to learning to take the time to repair things, it doesn't really matter what it ends up looking like as long as it's functional, right? If, the function of it is to be beautiful, then yeah, okay, sure. You're going to want to make sure that there is, beautiful things happening, craftsmanship happening. But for this tote bag, even though I love it and it's pretty, I want it to be functional. I want to be able to use it, The point of what I'm trying to say with sewing this while I'm sitting here chatting with you guys is that take the time to repair things. Take the time to sew it up. Now, do I particularly love sewing? No. And especially some of the meds that I take make my hands shake. It's a little difficult right now. Like, I'm feeling a tad bit frustrated. But I know that when it's done, I'm going to have a bag that's going to be repaired and ready to go. And I'm going to be able to look at that puckered seam and go, you know what? It doesn't look the best, but I took care of it, In a world where it encourages us to consume, throw it away, buy it again. And even though, you can't avoid that sometimes because that's simply the way that things are made, it's a little bit of an act of anarchy, to repair something yourself and keep it going. It's also, I'm sure some of you are rolling your eyes going, what do you mean? That's just like how most people operate. You are correct. Most people in the world just simply repair their belongings, right? But the point of this channel is not to, state obvious things, because it feels pretty obvious, but to frame it in the way that I grew up and the ways that I was exposed to things and some of the experiences that I've had. It's somehow not being able to purchase an item to replace something that has an impairment but is not ruined. It felt like losing. You needed to have enough money. You needed to be secure enough to just buy another one instead of having to repair that one. And that's not fun, and that doesn't make any sense. And one thing that I love about today's younger generations is how much they do not care for societal norms and for how things have always worked. They simply want to do what they want to do. And if they think that reclaimed tablecloths turned into t-shirts or button-downs is the coolest thing ever, which I think is a pretty cool thing myself, good for you guys. That's incredible. I love it. The kids are going to be all right. And I'm sitting here sewing, and you might not be able to see it, but I'm using a particular type of stitch to be able to get it really nice and tight. I don't remember what the name of this particular stitch is. I'm probably doing it wrong and should be doing it on the other side, but it's going to work the way I need it to. And that's fine, right? If I was going to say, this is a sewing channel, let me show you how to do this exactly right, no, then I would need to go and do my research, right? But what I'm here to tell you is that you can use the tools that you have available. I had somebody teach me how to sew. I had my grandmothers teach me how to sew. And even though I don't do it very often, I still remember how to do a lot of it. But if there's something that I don't know how to do, i.e. getting a lot of my streaming stuff set up, I'm not good at technology, you guys. You'll probably figure that out along the ride as we go along. That it frustrates me. And before, I would get very upset. I would get upset that I was not excelling at this thing, right? Using intelligence as my identity. And now I'm just like, oh well, I'll just Google it and watch a video. I know that if I just put enough terms in and try enough Googling, I'm going to get there eventually, right? And that's what I mean when I say use the tools at your disposal. I have a whole literal shelf of crafting things and sewing materials and yada, 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 yada. There really is no reason for me to not repair things. It's just a matter of I didn't have the spoons before. But if I didn't have the tools that I needed, I could research, okay, this is what I need to do this thing. Look, I'm seeing here in a Reddit thread or in another YouTube video that I saw that you could substitute this for that. Like, my husband is gluten-free and I love to bake. And sometimes substituting gluten-free stuff just doesn't work as well. So instead of going like, well, I guess I just don't make gluten-free things for him, we can look up, okay, how do you substitute this? What should you best substitute this type of pastry or whatever you're going for with what type of gluten-free option? Just use the tools that are available to you, because every human being is intelligent. I don't think that anybody alive can not use Google. You know what I mean? Unless obviously you don't have internet, right, things like that. But if you can get to the internet and you can Google things, you can figure out how to do things. And I'm telling you, don't let that sense of fear of, well, I'm gonna do something wrong, or I'm gonna mess it up, or it's gonna be a waste of materials. Don't let that stop you, because you have to take that mechanical knowledge to procedural knowledge, and you've got to try and try and try again. And whatever it is that you're trying to do, if you will give it consistent effort and realistic amounts of research and asking questions and trying to figure things out from the experts, the people who know what they're talking about, you're gonna get there no problem. I guarantee. I am gonna end today's video with a little bit of a talk. I had a friend, a very dear friend, who sent me a video from a young lady talking about that confidence. And you know, you might be watching these videos thinking, oh, this lady doesn't lack confidence for anything. And you might be right in that in some situations. I'm definitely a Sagittarius rising. But also, this video, this girl was talking about confidence is not a feeling. You don't feel confident. Confidence is something that you do. You believe that you can try, and until you can build up competence, you keep going forward with confidence that you are learning something even when you're failing at it. So, I don't know if you can see some of these stitches. They're a little messy. They're a little sus. I still need to finish part of it, but she's more functional than she started out with. And that's the point of today's video. Is 8 months ago, I would have, you know, that was when I started to have this mental breakdown. I would have never imagined being able to repair myself. I won't go into it further than that, but it was a dark place. I was not having a good time. And I've been blessed to be able to take the time to myself these past few months to heal and meditate and journal and do all of this processing. And it's like day by day, I've just been one stitch at a time, sewing myself back up so that, you know, even though it might be a little bit puckered on the inside, might be a little bit messy, might not be exactly the right kind of thing that I want to feel or person that I want to be or experiences I want to have had, but I'm still here and I'm still functioning and I'm still working. All right, my friends, I hope that helped you. I hope you enjoyed doing a little bit of sewing with me. I hope listening to me talk helped make you feel a little bit better today. Something to think about. You have all of my love and all of my hugs and virtual kisses, because you guys have been so supportive of me as these videos have gone out, and I can't even believe the reception that I'm getting, even though like the numbers might not seem that impressive to anybody else who's just looking in from the outside, but to me, I'm just like, what do you mean 20 different people wanted to watch my video? So anyway, thank you guys so much for that. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week, rest of your vibe session, whatever it is. This has been Evandrix, imagining things while she sews. I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.